So it seems you guys really like the Haunted Hotel content as of late, with the last 2 videos doing extremely well. Like I promised, I will make more character analysis videos for the rest of the Freeling family, but until then I want to take the liberty of talking about the series' supernatural properties and give just a general rundown of demons, ghosts, and humans and anything that falls in between, because I feel like Haunted Hotel has a pretty unique way of portraying their paranormal activities, so much so that I think it totally deserves its own video here on the channel. And if you are a first time watcher, hey, my name's Taken, welcome to a little review. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more Haunted Hotel content in the future. So my regular viewers will already have a general gist on how Haunted Hotel portray their paranormal activity. We have humans, ghosts, demons, and even monsters. I'll try my best to cover and explain what the series has to offer, but if you notice something I missed, make sure to tell me in the comment section down below. So we're gonna start off light with ghosts. For the most part, ghosts are spirits of the deceased set to walk the plains of the earth. Unlike most other portrayals of ghosts in Haunted Hotel, ghosts are actually generally pretty harmless to humans, unable to possess or levitate objects to be used as projectiles. They're like sharks in a tank. Once you realize they can't harm you, the fear is minimized. Throughout the series, we see many different types of ghosts. In episode 1, we're introduced to Tony, a death day looper, a ghost who endlessly relives their final moments. It seems that loopers are unaware that they're actually dead, trapped within the moment and emotions of their demise. Within the series, Nathan also makes a strong distinction between inside and outside ghosts, originally with outside ghosts being portrayed as more savage and feral, though this was later shown to be untrue, as we see within that same episode, the outside ghost was actually trying to help them. For the most part, it seems there's no clear distinction between inside and outside ghosts. If anything, this might be a little bit of ghost racism going on, which is kind of funny to think about in hindsight. Besides the ghost of the Windmill Keeper, we meet Randy, a kid who died outside of the hotel, being able to coexist with the main cast. We also have Rose, who again died outside, yet seems to be a normal regular ghost just like Nate. Inside or outside, what all ghosts seem to share are the following traits. All ghosts cannot physically interact with humans. All humans can see ghosts. Ghosts can usually resemble the way they died. Ghosts do not need to sleep, though there's some exceptions like Nathan. Some ghosts forget how they die, and for some reason all of them have this strange fixation on TV.
And always on TVs! Always on TVs.
That being said, all of the inside and outside ghosts die within the property line of the hotel, making them unable to cross it. So with that out the way, you might be wondering about the process of becoming one. Well, obviously, first you gotta die within the property line of the hotel. This applies to humans, animals, and yes, even objects, though I have no idea why or how that even works, but it does. And the time frame of becoming a ghost after your death is kind of random, since Nathan claims it took him 3 days to become a ghost and it takes like a few minutes for Aunt Rose to become one. It seems like the very existence of the hotel itself is what allowed these spirits to exist, since we don't see any other ghosts beyond the property line. What I really want to talk about is the rock, paper, scissors dynamic that exists between humans, demons, and ghosts. In this system, ghosts can beat demons, demons can beat humans, and humans can beat ghosts. It's never really explained why this is the case, but episode 1, we see the hotel's ghosts bomb rushing and completely manhandling Mortov. From what I can tell, this rock, paper, scissors dynamic is based on who can physically interact with the other. Demons can only interact with humans, humans can only interact with ghosts, and ghosts can interact with demons. This logic is just a general rule of thumb. It's not like a hardcore rule. As we see later on, there are some exceptions. Unlike the Has-Been Hotel, the Haunted Hotel does a great job emphasizing how each ghost is from a different time period, from how they look to the way they talk. If you guys watched my Nathan video, you should already know about a ghost unfinished business being introduced in episode 2. This refers to the unresolved hopes and dreams that keeps a ghost tethered to the mortal plane. Once that unfinished business is complete, a ghost can finally move on to where they go remains unknown. And it seems like because of the fact they don't know where they're going, it has an innate fear among the ghosts. Another aspect of a ghost life is the equivalent of a midlife crisis, where they begin to lose their grip on the mortal plane they exist in. When this happens, they start to sink, falling through the earth's core. This loss of meaning to exist is actually a common occurrence for many ghosts, and it was a major plot point for Nathan in season 1. Next, we have demons. The demons in Haunted Hotel has always been the most interesting part of the show for me, with the show constantly leaving me wondering more about them and where they came from, presumably hell. We're introduced to 3 demons: Molotov, the spawn of Rubber Suit, and of course Abaddon. For the most part, demons are inherently evil beings belonging from hell, a place we can only assume to be similar to other portrayals of hell, filled with pain, misery, and despair, with a bunch of demons torturing mortal souls. There seems to be an implied hierarchy within hell, judging by how Abaddon is referred to as a respected high-ranking figure within hell, and he also claimed he was actually sent to Earth. By whom he was sent by remains a valid question. I want to see the series answer someday. All the demons we've seen in the series are shown to be quite powerful, treated as a major threat. We saw this in episode 1 when Captain was desperate to kick out all the ghosts and was pleading to Nathan to get them back. In episode 9, we see the Spawn Rubber Suit completely take over the hotel. Even though ghosts are supposed to beat demons, I think the Spawn Rubber Suit was able to take control of the hotel because of their sheer size and numbers, and the fact it was heavily linked to the cursed snow globe Esther was playing around with. That snow globe ended up being the only win condition used against them. So it seems like there are some clear exceptions to ghost beats demon rule. With barely any mentions or a confirmation of heaven in a biblical sense, I wonder about the history of demons within the lore of the show, especially since Abaddon claimed they existed long before the creation of the earth at the dawn of time. I can only assume there must be a god or a counterpart such as angels that the series has yet to explore yet. Another major point I want to note is how demons are able to trick humans or just flat out possess them. We see this in episode 9 when the Spawn Rubber Suit possesses the Freeling family. We also have Abaddon, a demon trapped in the body of a boy from the 1700s due to an incomplete ritual performed by the boy's father, who had the goal of erasing Abaddon's soul permanently. Now for some clarification, I saw some people in my comment section wondering if Abaddon fused with the soul of the original host. I don't believe that to be true, because when the Spawn Rubber Suit took over the Freeling family, it seems like the way that possession works is that the human essentially takes a backseat in their own mind while the demon drives the car. I'd also like to point out how Esther was able to break free for a moment while being possessed, implying that a demon's grip on the human body depends on either how strong-willed the person is or how powerful said demon is. I think when it comes to Abaddon and his situation, the boy's soul is for the most part completely gone, with Abaddon fully in control of the body. I believe the reason Abaddon acts like a child is for two reasons. First, he's in the body of a child and everyone around him would treat him as such. And because of the fact he's not used to human interaction, he was essentially groomed into having a childlike outlook on life. Another reason is that I believe that his child body is physically altering how he thinks. He has a less developed brain and body. We see this in his mannerisms and his appetite. For example, in an early episode, he was demanding for Fruit Loops. I feel like it's the most sense if you were to transfer your mind into a different body, you naturally act different. For example, if I was in the body of a tiger, I probably wouldn't want to eat Taco Bell. I'd instantly go for a diet suitable for the animal I'm inhabiting at that point. By that same logic, if an adult mind was placed in the body of a child, their behavior and instincts would be influenced by that child's physical and mental development. Now let's get to humans. Humans, for the most part, pretty damn busted in my opinion. Since ghosts are totally unable to physically interact with us, some people like Ben are born as soul conduits, seemingly oriented humans with a natural affinity for the spiritual plane, essentially acting like a bridge between the mortal realm and the spirit realm, kind of like an avatar. Then you have humans like Esmeralda and Esther who have learned various forms of spiritual or dark magic. Esther being proficient in dark or black magic, possessing deep knowledge on demons, ghosts, and monsters, while Esmeralda seems to be more in tune to communicating with demons than ghosts, suggesting a special connection with the infernal entities. So yeah, we're pretty much the definition of comp. So far, we don't have much information on the exact role of a soul conduit. I'm planning to touch upon that more in Ben's video. The same can be said for Esther's use of black magic in her upcoming video next week, so stay tuned for that. What I really want to talk about is how the priest who trapped Abaddon in his son's body was powerful enough to actually pull it off, even catching someone like Abaddon, a high-ranking demon lord, off guard. And based on the season finale, when we see Abaddon regain his powers, he was anything but weak. I also can't help but wonder, since that priest was, well, a priest, what religion he belongs to, and whether or not that might be a hint out to where the series is heading. Because again, who was his god? Who did he believe in? Is there a god? I really want to know this. As you already know by either watching the show or watching one of my videos, the series, beyond having ghosts, demons, and humans, they have a couple of monsters that can make a couple appearances throughout the show. For the most part, the monsters are barely talked about within Undervale Hotel, with no real place among the dynamics between ghosts, demons, and humans. I was heavily confused at first because I originally thought only those three that exist, and I thought these monsters just simply fall under those lines, and upon me watching it, that's not the case. Monsters are exactly what they sound like, either supernatural or mythical creatures with physical bodies similar to humans. They can't interact with ghosts, but they can still see them just like a human can. But it makes me wonder, since demons can possess animals, could they also possess these monsters as well? Within the show, we see all sorts of monsters such as vampires and opening scene, the mentioning of werewolves, the appearance of Mothman, yes, the Mothman, and this one monster that caught my attention in episode 2 when Abaddon, Nathan, and Ben went to see the watermill, they came across this sea aquatic creature referred to as the infant god. And that's a pretty odd name to give a monster, the infant god. And whether it's a real god or not is not really clear. And it's really weird because this is the only time a character was referred to be as a god instead of like a demon or a ghost. So to wrap this video up, let's talk about the Undervale Hotel. The Undervale Hotel seems to be the most important aspect of the show, judging because that's what the show is named after. In episode 1, because of Joe Esmeralda, we have gathered a better understanding of the hotel's history and its affinity for the supernatural and any other otherworldly activities. We covered the history of the hotel in my Nathan video, but as a refresher, the Undervale Hotel is a place where numerous of ghosts resides at, having a dark, deep histories of murders, deaths, and suicides, once being an insane asylum to prison and back to an insane asylum again. The Undervale Hotel has even been suggesting being a pathway to hell, referring to as one of the 6 gates. And it's note that the line between the natural world and supernatural world is at its most thinnest at this location. That's why you will never see any other monsters, demons, or ghosts beyond the property line. As we see in the series, as we saw Catherine venture out to the town, it seems like there was no ghost in the public viewing of the townsfolk. There's no doubt in my mind that the mystique and deep history and lore of the hotel is something that the series is clearly building up to. That's all I have to say about what I know about the supernatural in Haunted Hotel. If there's something I missed that you noticed, please let me know in the comment section down below. As you can see, I really enjoyed this series and it's been great interacting with the community. My next video on Haunted Hotel will be a character analysis of Esther, and I will drop that probably next week. And if you're still here, don't forget to like and share the video. I'm your host Taken, and we do a little reviewing around here. Peace out.